Hello, it's Colette. Welcome to my channel. This is a coffee and chat video, and if you're looking for something spiritual, maybe my other videos for you, but I know a lot of my subscribers like to hear what's going on in my life, and they're also very supportive. So today is one I want to fill you in about an aspect of my life, and also how it made me feel very sad, frustrated and vulnerable yesterday. So for those of you that have read my memoirs or have been on the channel for a while, and for maybe clients, ex-clients, acquaintances, most of you will know that I'm hearing impaired, and I have 2 hearing devices, and I'm hearing impaired, and that's just what it is. When I was 3, I caught a very, very bad dose of German measles, and it gave me a squint in one eye, and it wrecked about 30% of my hearing. And my eyes got sorted, etc. But when I was 10, I had to have some surgery on a palate. I had facial problems, and the palate had to be raised and things had to be done. And unfortunately, a hearing nerve was damaged with that too. So I spent kind of my childhood being the kid that's up the front of the class so she can hear the teacher and whatever. But, you know, children are children. You hide it very well. I never had hearing devices when I was younger because I could still manage. But when I reached about 40, early 40s, the kids were getting totally deafened by the TV when I had it on, and I found that they could talk behind my back and I wouldn't hear what they were saying. So, and although I do have psychic hearing, clairaudience, this is not totally, you know, a switch of one for the other. So anyway, in my early 40s, I got my first normal hearing aid, which was awful because it just amplified everything. Now, the type of hearing loss I've got, if you've got like the vibrations, say that much, then about halfway up the chart or less than that, I can't hear anything above that. So all high-pitched sounds, or maybe high voices, things like that, I cannot hear. But I can still hear like the rumbling maybe of a truck, although I've got no idea what direction it's coming from. I could be run over by a tractor behind me, and the first thing I would know would be I would be face down on the floor. So that's why the country lanes can be lethal, but I don't really go walks in them anymore because of mobility. However, to get back to this is a ramble, that we're coming to the story, honestly. So the joyous thing that happened in my life was a few years later, I was given my first digital aid, and it was unbelievable. I stood in the middle of a car park. Actually, I stood in the middle of a road, and luckily enough, Jim was moving me on because I was going to get knocked over. And the reason I just stopped was I heard something I hadn't heard in years, and that was a bird song. That was a big bird crying, actually. And I couldn't figure out where the noise was coming from, but I could hear it, and because I could hear it, I'd already started crying. So there was I stuck in the middle of the road crying my eyes out because I could hear a bird about to get knocked over by a truck. So that was amazing, and it gave me access to some higher sounds, not that many, but some. And then a year and a half later, I was told I would need 2, but to get used to one first. A year and a half later, I got my second one, and that made things a lot better too. So if you are sitting in front of me and we're having a conversation, I can see your face, so I can face and lip read, self-taught, and I can also you know, you get to know people, you get to know what they're going to ask at certain times, and you're always guessing and you're always trying to be one step ahead. And because of that, life can be very tiring. And sometimes, what's lovely is simply, I say, I take my ears out and sit in silence and just go into my own wee world. I suppose it's very easy for me to meditate because once I take my ears out, I don't have many distractions at all. So anyway, getting the second hearing device, I started to hear slightly higher sounds, but just not very loud. And I realised that I was so glad that I'd always loved level 42 because they still sounded the same because they've got all bass sounds mainly. And then the first time I heard a Kylie Minogue song, I thought I was going to throw up because I'd never heard it that way. And the same, ABBA, if you've only got low hearing and then you hear a wee bit of it, oh my God, it was torture, absolutely torture. So anyway, that's the type of thing. The hearing loss itself I deal with, and I deal with well. It's taken me to about maybe 4 years ago to actually wear my hair up and, away from my ears so that people actually see my hearing devices. Before that, I always kept my hair down. And it was just that when I was little, I was always aware that I was sitting at the audiology clinic with these ancient old men and old women, and even in my 40s I seemed to be there with people in their 60s and 70s and 80s, and sometimes I just felt like I'll just deal with this. So there's a lot of people even maybe hearing this that really maybe didn't know that I'm hearing impaired because I'm very, very good at covering it up, or I'm very, very good at putting all my energy into watching you, looking for clues, that sort of thing. I got on with it. It gets me down occasionally. It tires me out a lot, and that's one of the reasons that, as well as the mobility issues and the autoimmune disease, that I actually gave up readings and I'd switched to Skype. But Skype's difficult as well, particularly if you get a fuzzy channel, because remember, I'm not just trying to hear you, I'm trying to watch you as well. So anyway, that's the background, I think. My mum was hearing impaired and she used to sit in her 60s and say, I get so annoyed, Colette, I'm deaf, I'm not stupid. And she said it so often and I was like, it's a shame, Mum, However, yesterday I was at a dentist. And I'm not going to give names or anything, people have asked, but he's genuinely, in some ways, a very good dentist. I've been going there for about 3 years, and one of the reasons I like going there is that he understands Sjogren's, the dry mouth associated with it. He gives me prescriptions for the gels I need for saliva for my mouth, a better one than the doctor normally gives me. So, and he's very good at sort of really keeping an eye on my teeth, not just as a normal patient, but as a Sjogren's sufferer. But I've been aware that I always have to remind him about my hearing impairment. And it's one of the things that when I know I have to go to the dentist, I'm like, it's almost like re-educating him most times I go in. Now, yesterday when I went in, he was running late, and I'm not making excuses for him, but he did seem to be in quite a bad mood. And I went in as usual. Now, he has his seat behind the chair, and then he goes and sits, and his computer's at the wall. So I went in and sat down. It was a new nurse. So I said to her, hi, I'm hearing impaired. If you want my attention and you talk to me, please look at me. And I won't hear you if you've got a mask on. And he's been told this a lot as well. I can't hear you if you've got your mask on. So a mask just garbles things, but also you can't see the lips move. One of the awful things about going to a dentist is that I normally would like to close my eyes, but if I close my eyes, I can't see if they're trying to get my attention. So I have to keep my eyes open the whole way through it. So anyway, I sat, the nurse was lovely. She took my stick off me, she sat me down, put the bib on and everything, and just so sweet. And then the dentist, I could hear a mumble from behind me, and I knew that once again he was talking to the back of my head. and I couldn't make him out. So I turned right the way around in my seat, and I remember the seat's facing this way, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't hear you if you're behind me. And he said, oh, okay. And then he came forward with his mask on and started talking, and I kind of looked at him, I think I glared, and he took his mask down. Or I think he took it down or whatever, but it wasn't there, put it that way. It wasn't up. So then he asked me about my tooth, which had been hurting me for a few weeks, but I hadn't been able to get to him because we were snowed in and also family issues. And off he went to do what he does. So he then went back to the computer, faced the wall, and put my chair down, and sort of then turned around and started doing things, but without really communicating with me in any way as to what he was doing. And that's okay, some dentists are like that. But then he put the chair back up and proceeded to talk to me then while facing the computer and the back wall. And I knew he was talking because he's got quite a deep voice, and I could hear him, but I couldn't make out a thing. So I said, I can't hear you. And instead of coming round and facing me, he just started shouting. Now, when you shout, it doesn't make things any clearer, because I can't hear the start and the ends of some words. So shouting them isn't going to make it any clearer for me. So at that point I thought, I give up. I just give up. Then I'd have some x-rays done, and I have a gag reflex that just keeps making me want to be sick. So that was a problem, but we managed it, and it just seemed very gruff. And just cut a long story short, basically got the treatment done, got the tooth packed. Various times he was behind me. Yes, he did give me my prescription for the gel and put it in front of me. That was all fine. The first thing I knew that the treatment was finished was when the seat went up, the nurse took the bib off and took my protective glasses off, and then there was nothing. So I turned to look at him, and he was just sitting in the seat looking at me as though, I suppose I should say something now, but So I turned and I asked him a few questions. I'd felt that he'd also done sort of scaling while my mouth was numb, and he said yes he did, and then just looked at me, and I was like, well, thank you for your help. I thanked the nurse, and she got me my stick and got me through to the waiting room, and I felt like shit, absolute shit, because this is a health professional who I believe might be quite shy as a person. But I don't know. When I was training as a pharmacist, we never got told how to deal with disabilities, or particularly hearing impairment. And I hope that's changed. But this dentist, he does it sometimes, and other times, even though he knows I'm hearing impaired, it's as though maybe he doesn't know what to say or how to say it. And I'm trying to educate him, but when someone literally is talking to you, knowing you're hearing impaired, not only just behind you, but turned and facing the wall, the computer, I thought, no, fair enough. So when I get in yesterday, I went into this wee room, my wee meditation and filming room, and I shut the door. I took my ears out. Jim knows that when that door's shut that I'm going into myself for a wee while. I went back to a place after having a wee rant on Facebook. Not again a wee rant. I'm bringing out this dentist. People are saying, change your dentist, do this, do that, next thing. And maybe I will. Because you get so fed up of trying to educate, but then you think, well, what if I go to another dentist and they don't really have great training in hearing impairment, So anyway, it took me a wee while to stop feeling a wee bit vulnerable, to stop feeling a wee bit fed up with myself. And then I got to thinking back to the times where I felt like saying to people like my mum said, I'm deaf. I'm not fully deaf, but I'm hearing impaired. I'm not stupid. Do you know, years ago in a bakeries in a local area where I used to live, I was standing in the queue and there were 4 tills, but there were 3 and then 1. Now, when you're hearing impaired and you're in a queue, you have to keep an eye on all the tills. Unless you're in a store that actually has the numbers up and it's, till number 12, and it tells you. That's fantastic. That's what we need. So anyway, there was 2 occasions in this one baker's one. I was looking around and I was sure that this till was going to be ready and the person was out. Meanwhile, the person at the top got the change and scurried out, and the assistant was obviously saying next, and I'm like, oh, looking at this one. And a woman behind me said, she came right in front of me, she said, for goodness sake, you're in your own wee world, darling. And I was like, what? Oh, and this woman by this time was waving at me, and I went, and I don't even think I got the right shopping. I was so flummoxed. Now, about 4 months later, I picked up the courage to go back into the same baker's, and the same situation arose, so I was even more alert. In fact, I feel as though I was going to have a panic attack because I was getting myself so worked up at watching all the tills. So there I was, convinced that this one was going to come again, and I missed this till. But this time the woman behind me whacked me on the back and pushed me forward. And it was hard not to turn around and bop her on the nose, but I felt totally humiliated, and I've never gone back to that baker's, never, ever. And it's not necessarily their fault, but the staff saw. Also, similar baker, but where I live now, they always seem to put stock in front of the till, the thing that you look at for the price. And I told them 5 times when I went in, I can't see your subtotal. This is illegal, because it is. You're meant to be able to see how much money see what what's been rung up. And every time I went back in, it was like there was Halloween stuff in front of it, or there was bun in front of it. And I went onto Facebook and had a wee rant, and 2 people who I know from the same area, I went in and complained on my behalf, which I thought was absolutely gorgeous. And the next time I went in, believe it or not, I could see the amount on the till. So I had made my point, and I'd also, I'd said, I'm hearing impaired, I can't see this. It's difficult, there's machines going, I can't hear you, I need a clear view, and nothing got done. But adding the weight of 2 other people towards it did help, and that branch of that bakery have always seemed to keep things clear now. I need to give a wee shout out to Sainsbury's, because I found their staff training and their staff amazing for hearing impaired people. You've got your loop system and everything, but apart from that, the staff really, once you say, I'm hearing impaired, they'll go out of their way to help you, to make sure that their faces are clear to you, they'll not mumble. They must have really good staff training. So, from my dentist to the bakeries, and then you get Sainsbury's, particularly in my town, who are amazing. They're really good. In fact, I believe they run courses on British Sign Language. Now, I've been learning BSL for about 2 years now, and I'm not fluent enough to actually use it. Apart from in situations I could get by, but I couldn't sign a video or anything. I'm just not good enough. But bit by bit I'll learn, and who knows. So there are really good companies out there, but hearing impairment, like a lot of disabilities, can take a lot of your autonomy away. you want to buy something or change a bank account or whatever, and you go online because they've got an online thing, and that's great, and you do everything, and then you're just about to sign up and they say, and now we'll phone you, or you have to go talk to us. And worse for that, call out Vodafone. My account with them is up in a month's time and I will never go back. Their customer service is awful. So if you're hearing impaired and you have any problems with, I just use my phone for text. I can't hear the phone. If it rings, it vibrates. That's the only way I know it's ringing, because I don't hear high sounds like ringers. So anyway, Vodafone, Sainsbury's, yes. I'm going to just say it now. Greg's in one area, Greg's in another area, up. My dentist at the moment, I'm going back anyway because I'm not finished my treatment, see how it goes. Or do I move and take the chance that someone is more aware of disabilities, or maybe isn't so awkward? I don't know. As I say, I don't think my dentist is anything other than a nice man. But oh my goodness, someone should give him some training in dealing with hearing impaired people. And you know, the person that went in front of me was in her 70s or whatever. She might not have good hearing either. So, yeah. I have not optimised this channel for hearing impaired people, and that bothers me. One, because when I make videos, they take me forever, and I don't edit, although I'll need to learn for the things I want to do. They've got closed captions, but the closed captions are hilarious, and I'll give you 2 examples of that. One, if you ever want to cheer yourself up and even maybe die laughing, find a video of mine called The Delights and Spirituality of Autumn. Put it on with the closed captions. Give it about a minute and a half to get into it. And then prepare to need tenor pads for the whole of it. To give you an example, when I say trees, which I say a lot of in an autumn video, the closed captions say cheese. And the whole closed captions are talking about my love of cheese, the leaves from the cheese, how the cheese feel, how we connect with cheese, you name it. It's all about cheese. Go on, have a wee look. If I can, I'll actually link it down below. So that is the degree of closed captions with a Scottish accent, I believe. And it will get better, and maybe, who knows. Now, the other thing is, I had a chap whose first language is not English, so he was using closed captions to learn from my spiritual videos, and he emailed me, and I thought he'd made a typo, because he said hello Q8, and I was like, Q8, that's a typo. So he went on and he said, I really enjoy your videos, Q8, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of it, I did get back to him and I said, many blessings, Colette. And he got back and he said, I'm so sorry, I thought your name was Q8. Because that's what the closed captions on a certain video now said. Now, I've got over 200 videos up. I'm not going to go through them. But I hope that at one time the closed captions got better. And I hope in years to come, maybe I'll sign some videos for you. That would be nice. As I say, I can get by. I can get by in maybe a hospital situation. I can finger spell, etc. But there's a few hearing impaired people I watch that do, it's more American Sign Language, but they're so quick, and it's, oh my goodness, I don't know. I'd love to be fluent in it, but it's going to take me quite a while. So, hearing impairment is a disability. People say well, in your YouTube channel, you don't sound hearing impaired. But remember, I've lost my hearing gradually. And when I'm tired, I have a deal with my daughters that they do tell me if I lose the end of my words, or if I come out with the wrong word completely, because I don't really hear the start or the ends of my words properly. I have had speech therapy when I was younger to try and deal with the stuff around my mouth and my nose, and that helped a lot, because the things I learned then about mouth memory, pronunciation, all help. But sometimes in a video, if I'm tired, you might see that I'm maybe talking about tarot cards, but it'll come out as tarot cards. I'll lose the D, and I'll lose sometimes the start of words, or the consonants. And that's just the way it is. Oh, I feel as though I've gone on forever. I'm so sorry, but this is a big topic to me. And I just would like to bring your attention to it. You know, going to the dentist is bad enough. Coming back, not worrying about your tooth, but just feeling depressed and isolated, even vulnerable. It's not good. And I don't necessarily believe it's this man's fault. I just believe he's not been trained. Or maybe he just doesn't have a kind of an emotional intelligence that is necessary. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that. So what I'm going to say to you is, if you're around, if you're doing your day-to-day life and you realise you've got a hearing impaired, you realise you've got a hearing impaired person round about you, don't shout at them. That distorts your mouth. Look at them, make sure they can see your face. If you've got a mask, take it off. And if you will just speak clearly, don't overpronounce things. Doesn't help in any way. No, that's just no. Don't shout. Worse still, if you say to someone something and they say, "I'm sorry, could you say that again?" And you say it again, maybe they still don't get it, and they say, "Could you tell me that again?" Do you know one way to kill their soul is to say, "Didn't matter. You've had something to say to that person." And then, because it's been hard and you're not willing to give them another few goes at it, you have decided that they're not worthy, or they're too much bother for you to actually just be nice and repeat it again, even if it takes 4 or 5 times, so that they get it. So to me, the worst thing is, someone talking to me and I'll ask them, "Sorry, I didn't catch that, could you say it again?" And some people just say, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Well, yes, it does matter. If you were talking to me, it does matter. Whether it was an important piece of information which you're meant to pass on, that matters. Whether you're just passing the time of day, it still matters. I'm a person. I'm hearing impaired. I'm not stupid. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'd also love to hear for anyone who is hearing impaired. I know I've got quite a few followers on Facebook who are hearing impaired and suffer in the same way. And I'd love to know your thoughts on it. And I'd love to know if you're not hearing impaired, but this video has maybe given you something to think about. That would be good. Not in a bad way, just to be more aware. Then I would like that. So that's been a sort of rant. It's been a thing in my life that maybe I'm needing to become more bullshit about. Yeah. So thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And I hope you realise where I'm coming from. Many blessings. Love you all. Bye.